Let's step the right foot forward a little bit, slide the left leg back, coming into a low lunge. Now walk the front foot a bit more forward so the knee is approximately above the heel, and then slide the back knee away. To do that, you can tuck the back toes under and kind of pull the knee backwards. And now we're targeting the top of the back thigh and a bit of the front hip here. Now we'll loosen up into the dragons with the pulsating dragon. As you inhale, push the front leg straight and look up. And as you exhale, chin drops to your chest, move the hips forward, look down. And then repeat. Inhale, straighten the leg and look up. Exhale, chin to chest, push the hips forward, look down. 2 or 3 slow pulses at your own speed of breath. It's not a race. Do it slow enough that you can sense where the sensations are. 2 more. Look up as you go back. Look down as you come forward. Last pulse. And coming forward into a baby dragon. Hands are on either side of the front foot. If that's uncomfortable, put your hands onto blocks. Again, we're targeting the top of the back thigh. If this is all felt in the kneecap, some options, you can put some padding under the knee or put a block underneath the shin. So the knee is actually not on the floor at all. Or, just to help us really get into that quadricep droop on the back leg, bend the back leg, roll onto the front of the knee, and then with the opposite hand, reach back and try to find yourself. If you can't grab the foot, you can maybe use a belt, a strap, or a very long sock. And we're just tugging a bit on that back foot to feel the sensation in the top of the thigh. You may feel it in the front of the hip as well. Those are your hip flexors. We'll be working on those a bit today as well. A couple more breaths here. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. And slowly release the foot. For the bowing dragon, straighten the front leg. Pull that right hip back. Then walk the hands forward. So you bow down over the leg. The target area now is the underside of the leg, your hamstrings, but maybe you'll feel it on the outside of the hip as well. Challenging as this may be, try to relax in this shape. We're only here for about a minute, so get it while you can. And moving the hips forward. So in the low lunge, you'll feel something in the top of the back thigh. We're also going to come into the winged dragon now. Let the knee wing out to the side. You can have the right hand on top of it or have the right hand on the floor inside the knee. If you're not a fan of the winged dragon, it can be quite a deep external rotation for the hip. You can walk that front foot inward and do this as a version of the swan. If you're coming to the swan, you slide the back leg further away. And it is the proud swan here. We're still lifting the chest up, a bit of a back bend. And let the weight of the hips sink down. So you feel this on the outside of the hip. Or you're staying in the dragon. The good news is we're only here for a short visit, maybe another 3 or 4 breaths. If you're in the swan, come back into a lunge, into a dragon. If you're in the winged dragon, bring the knee back up. Like we did with the bowing dragon, we're going to move the hips backwards. This time we're going to come all the way back to sitting on the heel. And it may be useful to have a block beside the foot so that you can be centered. Once more, we're going to fold forward to your own degree. Now, the left knee is quite bent. Again, if that's too much, you can do this with the foot on the floor and just fold forward this way. If it's okay, then again, we're plantar flexing the ankle. The knee is deeply flexed. And we're just folding forward for about a minute. This is all back of the leg work here. Hopefully you're feeling some sort of a tugging. If you can't come forward at all because you're so tight in the hamstrings, then bend the knee. Put your arms underneath the knee or a block. With the knee bent, the hamstrings are a little bit released, and you can come forward. Now, as you come forward, look at your front ankle. Put one finger on the inside of the ankle bone, the other finger on the outside of the ankle bone, and notice that they're not in the same line. In my case, my outside ankle bone is quite a bit lower and actually a little bit behind the front bone. And that angle between the fingers, it's called your empiric axis. The more of an angle you have, the more the foot will naturally point inward when you plantar flex. Oppositely, when you dorsiflex, the more the foot will point outward. And that's why for a lot of people, his back foot is actually turning inward a bit. And that's just due to this angle of the 2 ankle bones. You have an axis along which the foot rotates. And if you have a large empiric axis, the more the foot's going to point inward when you plantar flex. Now slowly come up. One last variation, a half saddle. Come back onto your elbows if you can. If you can't come onto your elbows, use a bolster to rest your elbows on. Track 2 and 3 students are naturally a little bit more flexible. You can come onto the elbows or even come all the way to the floor. And now you feel the top of the bent leg, the quadriceps. The straight leg can remain straight, or you can bring it to a half butterfly. Or for the track 3 students, hug the knee into the chest while you allow the left knee to come to the ground. About a minute or so here. Two more breaths. And somehow gracefully, we're going to come back up. And sitting up, we're going to bring the right foot in. We still have the back foot behind us, but if you need to, you can turn that leg into half butterfly if you like. We're going to come into the dorsi. short for dorsiflexion. We want to dorsiflex this front ankle. Now, just like this, we're already in dorsiflexion. But let's see if we can deepen that by leaning our chest onto the thigh and pushing the knee forward until you start to feel a nice tugging in the back of the calf. The back of the calves, the Achilles tendon. The heel should remain pretty close to the floor, so you can feel the stretch here. About a minute and a half here in the dorsi. It can be quite yin-like in that there's no muscular effort here. It's just the weight of your upper body pushing the knee forward. Now try to relax the calf. Notice what you're feeling. For some people, they're stopped in dorsiflexion by a sense of compression in the front of the ankle. Some people, the shape of their tibia is such that it hits the top of the foot bone, called the talus. And once those two bones come into contact, you cannot dorsiflexion any deeper. But if you're feeling it all in the back of the calf and the Achilles tendon, or maybe even in the bottom of the foot, the plantar fascia, well, that tension, and that can be lengthened over time. These tissues can elongate. But once you've reached compression, you've reached as far as you can go for this lifetime. Maybe in your next lifetime, you'll be able to bring the knee right to the floor of it. Once you reach compression here, you've reached a limit. And for the last couple of breaths, soften the calf. One last breath. Move your cushion away for now. We're going to come back to the beginning where we started this in angling. Lift your hips forward, bring your feet together, knees a little bit bent, hands on the floor. For a minute or so here, dangle. Track 2 and 3 students, people who are a little bit more flexible, start to straighten the legs a bit more and then clasp the elbows. Let your head be heavy, so there's even an extension, an axial extension for the neck. Track 3 students whose chests are touching the thighs and the legs are completely straight, you can clasp the elbows behind the knees. But be aware there's not much effort here. Try to lock the legs straight so you're not even working your quad muscles. Let your back relax. About 3 more breaths. Placing your hands to the floor. You're going to revisit the land of the dragons, but on the other side. So step your left foot forward, right leg slides back. Walk the front knee forward so the knee is approximately above the heel. And then tucking the back toe under, slide the back knee away. Again, the target area, the top of the back thigh, the outside of the front hip. We'll begin with some pulsation. As you inhale, straighten the leg and look up. As you exhale, push hips forward, chin to your chest, look down. And a few more pulses at your own speed of breath. Lower is better. Remember your options for the back knee if it hurts, uncomfortable, bend the knee. One more pulse. And this time as you come forward, stay forward. Remember, hands can be on blocks, and then reach back with the opposite hand, grab the foot, pull the heel towards the hip. Doesn't have to ever touch the hip, just want to get that nice sense of tugging on the top of the quadricep. And the hips come forward and down. Softening here for about a minute. So 2 more breaths. And releasing the foot, we're going to come into the bowing dragon, straighten the front leg. You're pulling that left hip back as you walk your fingers forward, and you bow down over the leg. Again, you may be feeling some sort of a tugging along the back of the front leg, or maybe the outside of the thigh as well. Wherever you're feeling this, try to soften and relax. With 2 more breaths. And moving the hip forward. From the winged dragon, bring your hand to the inside of the foot, start to wing the knee out to the side a bit. When the knee is about as wide to the side as it's going to go, stay there. Or if you prefer, walk that foot into a swan position. Remember, it's a proud swan. So we're keeping the chest up. About a minute here. Hips relaxed, dropping. Few more breaths. If you're in the swan, come back onto the low lunge, the dragon. If you're in the winged dragon, bring the knee back up, hand on either side of the front foot, and straighten the front leg. We're going to sit all the way back on the heel. Again, you can put a block beside the right foot so that you're level. Now the target area here is the back of the straight leg, but again, we're still working with full flexion of the knee, plantar flexion of the ankle. And if you're feeling it in the back of the front leg, you don't have to come forward very far. If you're feeling it, you're doing the pose. It's only for people who aren't feeling it that may need to come forward a bit more so that gravity can draw you down. Remember, it's okay to bend the knee and put some supports underneath the knee. And then look at the ankle on your left foot. And bring one finger to the inside ankle bone, called the medial malleolus, and another finger to the outside, the lateral malleolus. Notice that they're not at the same height. Again, that's the empiric axis. For me, the outside one is a bit further forward than the inside one, and it's much lower. Again, that will dictate where the foot will point as you dorsiflex and plantar flex. Of course, you can always move the foot in any direction you want, but if you completely relax and you do that, the foot will come forward and backward on a distinct angle compared to the axis of the shin. If you're interested in learning more about the empiric axis, you can read an article in the newsletters on yinyoga.com. A few months ago, there was an article on this very topic. About 3 more breaths here. And then walking your hands back up. We're going to come back into the half saddle variation again. Walking the hands back, leaning onto the elbows. And again, if you need to, you can put blocks or supports under the elbows. Track 2 and 3 students may come all the way to the floor. In that case, you may want to hug the left knee in towards the chest. And a minute or so here. Again, we're feeling the top of the right thigh. That's the main targeted area. Last 2 breaths. Straightening the bent leg, left leg. Let's come back up onto the elbows. Pause here for a moment. The last variation is the Dorsey. We can keep the right knee where it is, bending the left knee, bring the heel in toward you as far as you can, and start to lean your chest forward. Again, if this bent knee is complaining, do this in a half lotus type position. You can just bring your foot in behind you. As we lean the chest forward, we're trying to keep the heel on the floor, but we're pushing the knee forward. So you start to feel that lovely tugging in the back of the left calf, the Achilles tendon. Maybe you feel it in the bottom of the feet, the plantar fascia. Or maybe for you, you're feeling it in the front, where the tibia is hitting the talus bone. You've reached compression and this is as far as you can go. And that's fine. Stay here. You keep what range of motion you have. You don't want to lose it. Just know that you're not going to get any further. About 3, 4 more breaths here. This is the last time today in this class that your knees will be bent. The rest of the class, the legs will be straight. We'll enjoy this for one last breath. And then backing off. Instead of dangling like we did last time, we're going to come into caterpillar. So sitting up on something, let the legs slide straight in front of you.